When it comes to diagnosing and troubleshooting your operating system, the safe mode is a great opportunity to enter your operating system and configure changes and then restart your operating system normally. So if you're having some problems starting your operating system, if something is corrupted, maybe your registry is corrupted, or there are some other problems, some of the device drivers aren't working properly, then you can enter into safe mode and start up your operating system. The way that safe mode works is it bypasses the registry, the config sys, the autoexec, BAT, and sections of the system INI. And it only loads the mouse, keyboard, and your VGA, your monitor drivers. So you are able to have display, keyboard, and mouse functionality, but you won't have too much else. Safe mode in Windows 2000 has a few different options. We've got a basic safe mode, which loads the basic files and drivers. We've got a safe mode with networking. Safe mode in 98 does not support networking, but here we've got safe mode with networking. So it starts the Windows 2000 using only basic files and drivers, and also includes the network connectors. We've got safe mode with command prompt, and this starts the basic files and drivers, and after it logs onto the command prompt and it displays it instead of the Windows desktop. So if you want to work with just the command prompt, this is the way to do it. We've got enable boot logging, and what this does is this safe mode with networking and with the command prompt to add the boot log to the list of drivers and services that are loaded. The boot log is useful in determining the exact cause of the system startup problems. We've got another one where we can enable VGA mode, and what this does is this starts the system with the basic VGA driver. The next one is the last known good configuration, and this starts the Windows 2000 using registry information that Windows saved at the last shutdown. And this is used only in cases of incorrect configuration. And then last of all, we've got the debugging mode, which starts the Windows 2000 while sending debug information through a serial cable to another computer. Common error messages. First of all, we've got the no operating or no OS found, and this could mean a number of things. It could mean your hard drive is physically damaged or it's disconnected, that the system boot files have been corrupted or that they're missing, or that the master boot record is damaged or changed, or that you've got a computer virus. To fix this sort of a problem, boot from a startup disk and type the sys c and run the Windows setup to replace the system boot files. The next type of error is an error in config sys line, and this is usually caused by missing or corrupted file or device driver or even a typing error. After that, we've got a bad or missing command.com, and this could be caused by any one of the number of reasons, such as the file was deleted or renamed, that it's the wrong version, or that it has a damaged header. And again, we're going to use the sysc to recopy the files onto your drive and reboot your system. Next one is the HIMEN sys not loaded, and this occurs when different programs or devices try to access the extended memory and there's a problem with it. You'll receive this error message, and this may have been caused by deleting the wrong files in the Windows command directory. Next, we've got swap file errors, and if you don't have much free hard disk space on your swap file, you'll not be able to expand, which can cause your computer to run slow. Not enough free space also causes your swap file to swap between physical memory and hard disk memory more frequently, which increases the chances of general protection faults. When it comes to Windows NT or Windows 2000, There's some common errors that you might see with it. Would include the couldn't find the net loader. Oh, before we mention that, if you've got partitioned and you've got two operating systems installed, you want to have maybe a Windows 98 and a Windows 2000 on the same hard disk. You need to install the Windows 98 operating system first, and then install the Windows 2000, because otherwise it's not going to be able to recognize the net loader, and you're going to have some problems starting up your operating system. Okay, a common error that you could find would be couldn't find the NTLDR, which is the net loader. And this could mean that it's either missing or damaged. So here you'd have to replace the file with a backup or install a new copy. Next, we've got NT-detect checking hardware, where this file could be missing or damaged. And once again, should have a backup of it, and you should be able to copy it or install a new copy of it. We've got IO error accessing boot sector file, and this error indicates that the boot INI file either points to the wrong location for the bootSec-DOS file, or that the bootSec-DOS file is corrupt. So here you'd have to take a look through your bootSec-DOS file and just make sure that it's not corrupt, or that's not being in the wrong location. When we see the error failure to start GUI, this means that Explorer exec could be missing, or that it could be corrupt. So this one deals with the particular file Explorer exec. So we're having some problems with that if we see that error. Next, we've got the Windows protection errors. So we've got general protection fault, say general protection error, and it's caused by when a program tries to access a portion of the memory that has not been allocated by Windows and is already being used by another program. And this happens, the screen will turn blue and you get the GPF error message. So the general protection fault error message. A few ways to solve this problem would be either to scan disk or defrag. You might have some TSRs that are running, so maybe you could remove those. Remove and install the program that caused the GPF error. Disable the power management and screensavers, because those could be causing that particular error, because they are also the TSRs. If you frequently receive these errors from different programs, then maybe it's time to reinstall the Windows operating system itself. If you see the invalid page fault error, this is caused when Windows or a program attempts to store or call a segment or block of memory that does not exist. This could happen because the bad memory of the program is incompatible or corrupt. We've got a legal operation, and this is an operation that's when it's requested that it's not understood by Windows or the CPU, and it can be caused by corrupt files. It could be also caused by bad memory, incorrect drivers, TSRs, or bad hard drive sectors. Next, we've got the event viewer log is full, and this is when the log is full and it's not able to record new events. So maybe you could empty out the log, go into the console and to see what's going on with it, or you can clear the events to free up some space in the log. The next one is the general protection faults, and we covered this in the Windows protection errors with the general protection fault messages. Legal operation. This is when a program performs an illegal operation and the program produces a general protection fault. Both these messages refer to the same type of error. And what this is when Windows has attempted to write information to a space in the memory that is already in use by another program. To solve this, you would just reboot the computer, and if the problem persists, then maybe you could try ScanDisk. Next, we've got invalid working directory, and this simply ensures that the path of the working directory is correct and make sure that the CD is in the drive. And we've got the device reference by system INI registry is not found. It simply means that the drivers are missing or corrupted, and you could simply try reinstalling the device or move the referenced or check the reference lines to the files that are listed. Common causes of errors, we've got TSR programs, and these are programs that first start when you first turn on your computer, and they stay in memory and are ready for use, even if they're not active on the screen. These programs can take up resources, and sometimes they can cause problems with your system. They include such things as screensavers and antivirus protection. So they run in the background. They function similar to the way that viruses, where they go into the memory and stay while the computer is still running. When we talk about system lockup, this is when you've got problems with applications or hardware and it can lock up your system for any number of reasons. When the system locks up, simply reboot the computer, and that usually corrects the problem. If you've got constant lockups and they're reoccurring, then try removing or reinstalling the application that you're using when the system does lock up. If you've got a problem with the application, it will not start or load. To solve this problem, try reinstalling the application. Some applications require certain DLL files or runtime files which are not included in Windows and maybe in the wrong versions. So the best thing is just to try to reinstall it and to see if it's going to work. If you can't log on to the network, the most common problems would be the most common things to check would be to check and make sure that the cable is attached securely, that you don't have any memory conflicts or I/O conflicts or RIQ conflicts. Make sure that the settings on the card match the settings on the network software you're using, and just check that the adapter is set to the correct speed and setting of the network. So these are a few things you can check if you're having problems with accessing the network. And once again, if you've got applications that don't install, then please check that your operating system is compatible with the application. Some programs are written with characteristics of different older operating systems, and you have to make sure that the particular program is compatible with your current operating system and even your computer system itself, to make sure that you're meeting the minimum requirements for the application that you're trying to install. Another common cause of operating system problems are viruses. Just going to go over a few different kinds of viruses that there are. First of all, we've got boot sector viruses, and these are viruses that they stay resident and infect the boot sector of your computer. Each time your computer is booted, it's reinfected with its own boot sector. Anytime a floppy drive is inserted into the drive, the boot sector is affected. If the machine is booted, or even if an infected disk is left in the floppy drive, when the system is rebooted, the computer system will be infected. We've got the FAT viruses, the file allocation table viruses, and these infect the FAT of the hard drive and usually cause a loss of files on that particular hard drive. We've got memory viruses that are viruses that execute and stay resident in the memory. We've got macro viruses that attach themselves to documents in the form of macros, usually Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel documents. We've got CMOS viruses that are viruses that make themselves resident in the CMOS, and these viruses can even damage your hardware of your computer system. And then, of course, we've got worms, which instead of spreading from file to file, they spread from computer to computer, infecting entire systems, entire networks, and it continues to try to spread itself across a network. And we've got Trojan horse which is designed to cause damage or do something malicious to a system, but they disguise themselves as something useful. They're unlike viruses, they don't make copies of themselves. To determine if you've got a virus in your system, a lot of times it is difficult to detect a virus. You might have erratic behavior in your system, frequent lockups, your system won't boot, and all of these can be caused by the virus. To remove virus, you need to have antivirus applications that have ability to remove the virus. And if you can't remove the virus, then one of the things you can do is to use fdisk and to use the format of the drive, which in turn would erase all your information off the drive. But sometimes as a last resort, that's the best way to clear the virus from your computer system.